Welcome back. We'll continue exploring the applications within the Asset Management module. In the previous video, we discussed Asset Portfolio. In this session, we'll move on to the Asset Operations application. The Asset Operations application is primarily designed for asset holders or portfolio user. It provides them with access to all assets assigned within their portfolio. In other words, anyone designated as the authorized user of a portfolio can view and manage the assets linked to it. Let's open the Asset Operations application. Based on the user account I'm logged in with, the system automatically identifies the portfolio assigned to me. Since I am the designated user of that portfolio, I can directly access all the assets linked to it. It's important to note that I am not manually adding these assets here. They are created and maintained in the Asset Information application. Once recorded there, they automatically become available to the assigned portfolio user. That's why the list of assets you see here is generated automatically, because they belong to the portfolio associated with my user account. Now the next question is, what can I actually do with these assets? The first and most common action is to issue an asset to someone. Let's take this particular asset as an example. Looking at its history, it was first issued on the 23rd of July to employee Mike Roberts against work order number 79. Later, it was returned on the 10th of August. On the same day, the asset was issued again to another employee, David Austin, and it hasn't been returned yet. That means the asset's current status is allocated, and the custodian right now is David Austin. Since the asset is still allocated, the Add button is deactivated. I cannot assign it to anyone else until it is returned. To record the process of return, we edit the record and mark the asset as returned by David Austin. The system automatically records the return date. At this point, the asset is returned to my custody as the portfolio user. Once the return is complete, the Add button becomes active again, allowing me to reissue the asset. For example, I can now issue this asset to another employee. When issuing, I can choose the receiver type, which could be an employee, a project, a facility, or a department. In this case, I'll select the employee. Next, receiver name. Here, we will select Alexander Hunold. Next, we can decide the reference type for issuing the asset, direct, against a request, or against a work order. If I choose Against Work Order, I'll need to select the relevant work order number from the available list. However, in this example, I'll issue the asset directly, since it's needed immediately. I can also provide a reference number, which could be an email request ID, an approval number, or a job reference number for which the asset is required. Finally, I confirm the action. Once I save the record, the system updates the status from available to allocated. This means the asset is no longer with me. It is now with Alexander. Since the asset is allocated, the Edit button remains enabled, but the Add button disappears. Why? Because the Add option is only available when the asset is in my custody and available to be issued. While it's with Alexander, I cannot assign it to anyone else. Only after he returns it will I be able to issue it again. That covers the first part, issuing assets and receiving them back. Now let's look at what else a portfolio user can do. They can update the condition of the asset, marking it as new, good, usable, or poor. They can also update the warranty details, specifying whether the asset is under warranty and until what date. Another option is to manage the operational status. By default, an asset is marked as operational. But if it requires maintenance, repair, calibration, or cleaning, the owner can place it on hold. While on hold, the asset cannot be issued until it's restored to operational status. It's important to note that only a limited set of details can be updated here by portfolio owners. The complete information about an asset, such as master data and specifications, is maintained separately in the Asset Information Application, also called the Fixed Asset Hub. In the Asset Operations Application, the main activities are issuing assets and receiving them back, updating asset condition, warranty, and operational status where applicable. That's all for this video. In the next sessions, we'll dive deeper into routines, maintenance history, and readings. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.